such a long journey that we have done hardly in half an hour. I'm sure all of us are recovering and we want to see the nuances of what this person is all about, apart from what we just saw, heard, and felt inside. So without further delay, I request somebody to help us to have 2 chairs on the stage, maybe 3, I would say. I request Mrinalini to take the stage, and I request somebody to escort Badawe Sir on stage. And Vinita, I request you also to be. Okay, we'll have Mrinalini and Badawe Sir on stage.
So it's such an honor to be here on the same stage as Badawe Sir and to be talking on all of your behalf with Sir. So we saw the documentary, we saw what Sarah had mentioned about Sir. So frankly, I'm not too sure how much is left for me to ask in the context of an interview. However, there are a few points which I thought could be of interest, because when I was reading the book and when I was looking at the documentary and what Sarah also mentioned, I felt perhaps there are a few gaps which we could cover. One of those points which I felt that after Sir having seen the technological changes over the past 55 years, perhaps my question, the first question that I would like to ask is, Sir, could you elaborate on some of the most challenging aspects of the technological change, whether it is in the context of the difference in materials or the actual construction technology, or the style of working as a single architect who is master of everything, to the current style where there is so much amount of specialization. So if you could elaborate a little bit on that aspect, Sir.
In the first place, I must compliment Priya. I had no idea what she had in mind. I also had no idea that so many of you would be kind enough to come here. Actually, it's in my nature to feel embarrassed. And I am a little awkward. Because you see, when you practice, you take up each job, each project, and then think about it, so on and so forth. Coming to the point that Mrinalini has brought up, there is a sea change. There is a sea change in everything. In the ambience, in the technology, in the way of thinking. I remember when I was young, actually, I can share with you. On 15th of August 1947, I was 11 years old. And on that day, the city of Pune was totally, everybody was on street. Shanwarwada, Mandai, all public buildings were illuminated. Somehow I had a feeling that nobody slept on that night. Right from that time to now, sometimes we go to these star hotels. Now, my children, grandchildren, they are comfortable, they are very much at home, but I am not. The technology, the whole way of living has changed. So much so that there are umpteen materials that some of my colleagues, younger ones, they bring into works. My son recently overhauled the whole house, I had designed it for a family who I had assumed would remain young throughout. He changed it, and when he was changing it, the interior designer, Shirish, he brought in so many new materials, so many new ways of doing things, so many new ways. Surprising and amazed. I think there is a sea change.
So, this sea change that you mentioned in the context of your own house, I was going to ask this question a little later, but I'm going to ask it right now. So, when you designed your own house in the beginning, you were the architect. Who was the client? Was it your wife? Was it your overall family? Who was the client for your own house?
Well, it's so many years ago, I think. We moved into this house was it 55 years ago? 30? 75. At that time, they were all very young. We also had a dog, a female dog. And we didn't have any rooms. We just had the whole floor free. No doors, no walls. Only bedrooms upstairs, toilets upstairs. The idea was that during the whole day, we used the whole floor. Visitors, I was a Rotarian. I used to have sometimes as many as 100 people coming to our house, have dinner, enjoy. We never felt crowded. Of course, the garden also was amalgamated. But the idea was not to build a house, but